Hey everyone, so today in Boston Week I will be talking about the Red Sox of the MLB. So the Red Sox play in the AL East, which is arguably the toughest division in all of baseball, with the Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles, and Rays as the other four teams in that division. So it is arguably, like I said, one of the toughest divisions in baseball. So to have a contending team and to try to win the division, a team needs to acquire assets and build a team that can compete with those other four teams in your division, because the teams in your division are the ones you play the most in a season. So, looking at their four starters, most teams have five. I'm just going to talk about the four who I think are going to be the most important for the Red Sox to succeed this upcoming season. Number one being Clay Buchholz. 66-44 in his career. He's got 699 strikeouts on his career. So first strikeout this upcoming season will be 700 on his career. So that'll be pretty nice milestone there. Rick Porcello, who I think is one of their big off-season acquisitions. Obviously, he's probably going to be their number two starter. 76-63 in his career, and he has 655 career strikeouts. So obviously, he'll get to 700 again this season as well, barring injury or any crazy thing like that happening. Wade Miley, 38 and 35, obviously not as long as a major league career as the other two, but he also has 499 career strikeouts. So first strikeout this year is 500 for him. So it's kind of neat that the first K that a lot of these starters are going to get is going to be a big milestone kind of reach for them to get to. Fourth one, Justin Masterson, who they also acquired this offseason, 60 and 72 career record, but he has 955 career strikeouts. So he'll want to get to 1,000 this season, kind of thing. So those are the four main guys. I think Porcello and Buchholz obviously are one great 1-2 punch for a team. Porcello coming from the Tigers, so obviously they had a great pitching staff there. Wade Miley, again, spent a long time in the minors, and now he's finally getting up there. And Justin Masterson, I think, is kind of a wild card based on his career record. He's got a 4.24 career ERA, so that's not horrible. But I think he's a bit of a wild card. I think on any MLB team, Justin Masterson would probably be like a number 4 or 5 starter. Anyway, so I think that's probably where he'll fit in there. If you take those four guys and you average out their career ERAs, obviously some have more innings pitched, so it's not going to be completely accurate. But if you just average it out based on what their career ERAs are, you got a 4.06 ERA, so that's good. If you're starting 5 or starting 4, can have a career ERA around the 4, 3.5 to 4 mark, you should be competitive, because your lineup should be able to score you easily 4 or 5 runs a game, kind of thing. So if your pitchers aren't giving up the runs and letting the other team score, then you're going to be able to win a lot of games. Another offseason acquisition they have, who I think kind of flew under the radar because he was signed pretty late, was Alexi Ogando from the Rangers, a bullpen guy, but I think he's also the kind of guy that if somebody got hurt, or if Justin Masterson really didn't turn out the way they wanted him to, or something like that, he could easily fill into a starter role as a 4 or 5th guy. 28-16 career record, 325 career strikeouts for him, so even in the bullpen, he should still be able to make it to 400 this upcoming season, depending on how many games and stuff he gets into. So I think that's another nice bullpen acquisition they have there, and a guy that can step into a starter's role, for spot starts or injuries or anything like that. Big offseason acquisition, not on the pitching staff. Obviously, Pablo Sandoval to take care of the hot corner, third base. He's 869 career games, and he's 192 doubles, so that's good. A lot of people look at powers and, okay, what kind of home run power does he have? But when you really think about it, if you can hit a double and there's only one out, you can easily score a guy. Or if there's no outs and you've hit a double, 2 sac fly scores a run. And I think a lot of teams now, the home run and the long ball is what fans love, and they like the exciting plays and the grand slams and stuff, which is true. But doing the small ball is what's going to get you to the playoffs, and that's ultimately what your fans want, is for you to win the World Series and make it to the playoffs. So, if Sandoval's going to hit you a bunch of doubles, or you have other players on your team that got some good speed and can hustle out doubles, then you use the sac flies, use the sac bunts, play the small ball, because that's what's going to get you more wins and ultimately into the postseason, which is what your fans want. Sandoval also has 294 career average, so 300 average guy, great guy to put into your lineup. He'll probably bat somewhere in the middle. I'm going to say 5th or 6th, maybe 3rd. Somewhere kind of in there, and he has 462 career RBI, so obviously 500 RBI milestone is going to be able for him to get to this year. Player to watch, I think, on the Red Sox is Xander Bogaerts, their shortstop. Young guy. He doesn't turn 23 till October, so he's going to be 22 all season. Of course, if they make it to the postseason, that's when he'll turn 23. It'd be a nice birthday present for him, obviously, if the Red Sox are playing in the postseason. So, young shortstop, you got to keep an eye on him. I think he would be the player to watch. Another player to watch, obviously, not that he's a young and up-and-comer, David Ortiz. All right, turning 40 this year. Is this his last season? I think it should be. I think he's done a lot for Boston. I think he might push himself too far, and he's been the face of the franchise. He's done many great things for Boston. I'm sure you guys will remember him with his speeches. Where he swears a little bit, or he's taking a baseball bat to phone booths in the dugout. So obviously he's a little animated, but he also, with the whole Boston bombing at the marathon and stuff, he really rallied in that Boston strong, and I think the whole city of Boston really took to David Ortiz as kind of a person to look to and a person who can show Boston's courage and Boston's strength. So as a baseball player, David Ortiz obviously very, very talented in his career. He's played 2,111 games in his career. So depending on how much he has left in the tank, he should easily be able to make 2,200 career games, which is very impressive. He has 466 career home runs. That means he's got 34 to make it to the 500 club. If this is his last season, 34 could be a daunting task, I want to say, for him to get. I think 20 would be easy. I think he'll easily hit 20 home runs, again, depending on how many games he gets into. 34 could be a stretch, and so I think he'll get close to that 500, but not quite make it. He has 2,159 career hits, so 2,200 career hits will be no problem, and 1,533 career RBIs. So he just needs 67 RBIs to get 1,600 in his career. So those are just a couple of the milestones to keep an eye out for and what he needs to reach those. He's also a 285 career hitter, so even if he doesn't make it to the 500 home run club, I think the stats that he's had, the longevity of his career, what he's done for Boston, I think someday he will make it to Cooperstown and be in the MLB Hall of Fame. I don't think as a first-time ballot guy, but I think someday he will make it to the Hall of Fame. Again, that's an argument. It's an argument a lot of people talk about because he's only been a DH. He's never played in the field. So is he deserving to be in the Hall of Fame when all he has ever been is a DH? He's played a little bit of first base here and there, but the predominant course of his career has been as a designated hitter. So does he deserve a Hall of Fame nod? Like I said, I think he will at some day. Not a first-time ballot guy by far, purely because he's only been a DH. But I think based on his career batting statistics, he's deserving of getting a Hall of Fame nod sometime down the road. Looking back at the Red Sox 2014 season and where they need to improve with the acquisitions they've got, I think they will improve, but what they really need to improve on is they were 22nd in the league in average, 21st in hits, and 18th in RBIs. So unless you're in the top 10 of RBIs, that's runs batted in, you're not scoring enough runs to win enough games, you're not going to make the playoffs. So somehow you got to find a way to score more runs, which is why I've previously mentioned using the small ball. If your first guy in the inning hits a double, 2 sac flies, you scored a run. Yes, you're giving up 2 outs, and it's almost like you threw that inning away, but a lot of MLB games are close. Sometimes all you need is a run or two to win, and especially if you have a starting pitcher who's only giving up 3 or 4 runs a game, you might only need 3 or 4 runs to win the game, right? So you want to look at the small ball and increase how many RBIs you're getting, increase how many hits you're getting, and get your average up there, obviously as well. They were also 6th in the league in strikeouts, which is really high. If you're in the top 10 in the league for strikeouts, that's a lot of wasted at bats. That's a lot of things you could have done differently, like laying down a bunt or looking at more pitches or hitting a sac fly. I think a lot of players nowadays, especially when they come up, feel the need to impress their team and hit a bunch of home runs and do all those things. And I don't feel that way. If you're coming up from AAA or from the minor league systems, you need to be able to show that you can be a productive member of your team. And however you choose to do that needs to be to your skill set. If you're a speed guy, don't try to hit home runs. Just get on base and steal a couple, then you're making an impact. That's what I think you need to do when you make it to the majors, is use the skill set you have to improve your team. So clearly, they need to cut down on the strikeouts and score more runs. Looking back at some of the previous players, Cy Young, obviously, award goes to the best pitcher in the league. Pedro Martinez won it back-to-back in 99 and 2000. He was also the Triple Crown winner in pitching in '99 when he won the Cy Young Award. So he had the most wins with 23, the best ERA at 2.07, and the most amount of strikeouts with 313. So clearly that was a very impressive season, and it was only 15 years ago. Roger Clemens also has won the Cy Young for the Red Sox in '86, '87, and '91. So looking more recently, if I'm talking about the history, I'm going to try to stay from the '80s, only go back as far as the '80s. So when you look at those two players, who is the more dynamic pitcher? Who's the better pitcher? Roger Clemens, obviously, a lot of negative things with the steroid accusations and all that. So for me, I'm going to say Pedro Martinez, I think, is the better of the two pitchers. Even though Roger Clemens, yes, has one more Cy Young, Pedro Martinez won the Triple Crown with one of his. And I think, again, great face for the Red Sox. I think a lot of the guys who are known as Red Sox players and face of the franchise and that kind of stuff, like David Ortiz and Pedro Martinez, they had a bit of an attitude kind of thing. And sometimes the press doesn't like that, and sometimes the Hall of Fame doesn't like that. But they're entertaining. I mean, yes, at times they might have taken it a little too far, but they're what get people to watch the game and get their fans involved in their team and in their sport. So I think Pedro Martinez make the Hall of Fame for sure. Roger Clemens, who knows, kind of thing with that. But great careers for both of those two pitchers. Again, looking forward to the upcoming Red Sox season. My wife is also a Red Sox fan. Being a Patriots fan, she likes a lot of Boston teams. So I'm a Jays fan. So if they finish second in the AL East, it's fine. You can make the playoffs. Let the Jays win the division. But again, keep an eye on Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Keep an eye on their pitching rotation. Adding Rick Porcello and Ogando in the bullpen, I think, will improve that a lot. And Pablo Sandoval now on the hot corner at third base obviously gives them another nice bat in their lineup. So good luck to the Red Sox this upcoming season. Enjoy spring training. I think it starts in a couple weeks. And I will talk to you guys later on in the week with another Boston sports team. Bye.